anybody color on my shit, it's a wrap. I swear to God, I'm waiting on them.
Hey everyone, it's Spooky Puff, and I'm here to talk to you about Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horrors. I love me a low-budget horror movie. Love it. So we start with the scene. It's giving a Boondocks slash anime type of deal. Well, Boondocks did give off anime fight scenes. That's how the intro is like. Snoop Dogg flies in a car shooting. It's like a shootout, but it's done in an anime style. And I personally would have preferred if the entire movie was like that. The entire movie. It would have been so good. If they had a series like this that came out today, everybody would watch it. Everybody would talk about it. It's like, that's how good the animation was. Can't say much for the rest of it because it's a low budget horror, so of course. So yeah, Snoop Dogg flies in, shooting with his guns and his boys, and it's a typical, I don't want to say typical shootout, but it's a shootout scene. If you've seen a hood movie, you know what it looked like. It's a shootout scene. I don't know what city they're in now that I think about it. He flies over this bridge and it pans around Snoop Dogg and it shows the license plate and it says Killers with a Z on the back.
Bro, I'm really about to get your pickle chin now, boy.
But anyway, people start to die in this shootout because, of course, Snoop Dogg goes face to face with, like, at first, this person looks like a typical, like, thug-esque type of guy, really buff, wife beater on, cornrows. He looks real strong, real hard. But then guy's eyes start to glow, and it seems as though Snoop Dogg has overpowered him. But then he has this like sinister grin. So Snoop Dogg's character is called Devon. I don't know with this guy, the guy that he's overpowering, I don't know his name. Maybe I'll see it in the movie later. Because I watched this movie like 3 times. I had to watch it like just to go in and get every little detail. And I don't know his name. But he says something profound at this point.
You want my spot, Devon? All you have to do is ask.
For me, that's like welcoming in a type of energy, you know? It's like, it's giving demon, but it's like vampires can't come in unless you invite them. Demons can't come in unless you're using a Ouija board, letting them in. Right after he says that, Devon, or Snoop Dogg's character, I'm gonna call him Devon. Snoop Dogg, or Devon, shoots at this motorcycle gas tank and it blows up. And the guy doesn't die. Instead, he turns into, I forgot that anime. Well, that's every anime though. He blows up and he turns into this like super ripped, buff, like 10 times stronger, 12-pack having ass like demon. And he's like, oh, ha, ha.
What are you?
Everything you can imagine.
After Devon shoots the motorcycle gas tank and it blows up and the demon turns into this super demon, he starts laughing and then it pans over to a woman crying. And I'm not going to put this scene in, even though it's animated, it's kind of like, it's a lot. But yeah, so basically Snoop Dogg has killed his sister. So the mother's crying and she's holding the daughter, and Snoop Dogg's just standing there like horrified, mortified by what he's just done. And so this isn't like, this part, it got to me. But what she said afterwards, like, it kind of made me laugh. It's not funny, but it was like, if y'all remember that scene from the movie Precious.
You're a dummy, bitch. You will never know shit. Don't nobody want you. Don't nobody need you.
Devon's mother, after realizing what he's done, tried to come in and console her. And the mother was like,
I hate you. You're not my son. You're a devil.
I feel like that would have happened either way, whether the demon was involved or not. But I feel like the demon kind of twisted the situation in his favor, in his own favor. Because right after this scene, Snoop Dogg's character Devon is standing up on a hill over the city with the gun in his hand. And he's like mumbling to himself.
My gun is shot my sister, man. No, man. I'm tripping. What that mean, man?
The guilt is eating him up. It's eating him up inside, as it should. He's like trying to reconcile in himself, but of course he can't. And so he goes searching for that demon guy again. They get into it. And then he goes even more super demon. He eats that punch, flips over and pulls out his gun because he hasn't learned his lesson.
Consider yourself lucky, Devin.
I like this animation. I can't say it enough. But yeah, the demon basically says this could have ended worse. And Snoop Dogg's like, man, go fuck yourself. And then the demon tries to sympathize and he's like, it doesn't have to be that way. He offers to bring his sister back, but it's a life for a life. So Snoop Dogg has to kill himself in order for the sister to come back. He does it with no hesitation. But what blows me about this scene is because the little girl just shows back up at her mom's house and she's like, Mom. And the mom just sees her, stares at her for a minute, and then she just hugs her. It's like, this ain't sus to you? This ain't sus to you? But all right, I get it. But that's actually his sister. He actually brought her back. He actually kept his side of the bargain. But now Snoop Dogg has turned into this Super Saiyan, like, gatekeeper of hell. Or is it heaven? Open to interpretation. But anyway, on the back of Snoop Dogg's neck is like this HOH, Hood of Horrors tattoo. But I guess they keep showing that throughout the movie too. Maybe it's like a branding thing because he didn't get that till he came back. Then they show that HOH tattoo again. Then they show the HOH tattoo a third time. First of all, that heat wave effect on them, that Snapchat filter heat wave effect, it's hilarious because this reminds me of like all the old movies, all the old 90s movies where if the character goes through the desert, they always put that heat wave filter on. So I don't know if it's supposed to be hot because they're in hell. I'm assuming that's what it is. But it's only around Snoop Dogg's character. So is it only hot around him? And then they introduce another character called Charlie, which they, of course, make a joke about his height, call him half pint, like, Anyway, Charlie throws up the middle finger because, of course. But then Charlie throws up. I'm not adding that because that's disgusting. I guess that's him using the bathroom because he does it again later on in the movie. Pans over to the first story and some bells ring and the camera pans down to a young woman walking in a grave. Her name is Posie, which we'll find out later. And she's going to her mother's grave. Then here comes Devon, Snoop Dogg's character, comes in with another one-liner.
Tell you about my homegirl Posie. She's made death an art form. Now just pray that she doesn't paint your picture, or you might end up on display in an open casket.
They pan to this group of thugs and two scantily clad women of the night. They're walking down an alleyway and they see a spray painted tag on the wall that says Posie because Posie is a artist. She's a, what do you call that? She put her tag on the wall and Fat Cap is like,
Posie?
Looks at his friends that he's walking with like,
What the fuck is this?
I guess this is the area that they usually tag. And so he's looking at them like, you know, a stern look, like, did y'all do this? And Strico, his friend, turns to him and he's like,
come on, Fat, you know me better than that.
Are you though? Are you though? So then he turns to the other one, the younger one. His name is Nib, which we find out later. And Nib's like,
Don't look at me, I ain't no pansy ass bitch.
like, that's exactly what you are though. Imagine claiming a street you don't own. I'm sad for them. Grow up.
Grow up. You first.
Like, after they go back and forth and they're all like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. He's like, man, let's cover it up. And for some fucking reason, Posie just pops up while they're covering it up. And I was like, why are you there? Did you wait in the corner?
If anyone colors on my shit, I'm gonna get their ass. Hey, that's mine. Don't color on that. That's my shit.
Cause why was you in the corner behind the wall just waiting, like.
If anybody color on my shit, it's a rap. I swear to God, I'm waiting on them.
Like, clearly she can't beat these people, but she's still gonna run her mouth. And that's typical, I instantly got Scorpio, Sagittarius vibes. They don't care. They don't care if it's
100 motherfuckers.
They still like, and I'm gonna get my lick back, and I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I don't care if it's a gun. And then she calls them lame dicks, which is hilarious.
Got him! Got him!
And then she gets all emotional about the painting, which, no judgment. But, well, I wouldn't even call it, like, you just spray painted your name on the wall. And she's like, you paint on that, it's like painting on me. And she turns to Strico. He's like,
that's me.
Did you pray today? Did you pray today? I can take you down on some gangsta shit. I can take you down on the gangsta shit.
It's like, thought you ate that? And then Posie says,
as in streak of shit running out your ass?
8. And then the scantily clad women, the working women that were with them, stand up for her.
Yeah. Stupid.
Hey, cut her loose. She's just a shorty. She ain't got nothing to do with us.
Shut your hood rat ass up, bitch, and get
You
your
big
ass
tag
back
bangers. You
line,
think
ho.
it's so tough pushing girls around, huh? Get ready to protect your shit.
Not the balls.
Forget it. I need a GPS in my boot to find that chocolate chip you call a dick.
Oh. And that is proven to be true later on in another scene that I will not show. She's a psychic. She's a medium.
She's an icon. She's a legend. And she is the moment.
Cap has a bruised ego, because obviously. But anyway, he grabs Posie and he puts a gun to her head. And this is when we find out Posie actually is crazy, because she's like looking him in the eye. She's like, I've been this close before. Why? Why have you been this close before?
Why? 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 Why?
And why would you do it again?
Stop it. Get some help.
They go back and forth, they argue, and she spray paints him in the face and runs off. So they do this chase scene down an alleyway, and she goes around a corner and she goes up this ladder before they can catch up to her. And while she's up there, they run by and they miss her on the ground. And she feels like she got away. But then we see a hand pan in behind her shadow, and then yaka, just grab her up like that and turn her around. And it's Machete, our king, Machete. It's like saying this weird, like, she's pretty, she smells good, just being creepy. All Posie can say, because she gotta roast everybody no matter what.
Whoa, you're gonna kill me or let your breath do it?
My little sister has definitely said something like that to me before, and she has a Scorpio moon. If you watch this movie and you have a Scorpio placement significantly, you are Posie. So Machete body slams Posie because why not? She wakes up in a chair in a dark room. It looks like kind of abandoned, but it has a bunch of like voodoo witchcraft-esque stuff. It gives off more of a voodoo vibe around the room. And she's like strapped to a chair, and Machete hot breath ass in front of her, mumbling on about some shit.
I can take anything I want, but there's only one little part of you that I need. The streets. Young lady, cry out for a woman's touch.
First of all, she thinks she's gonna be assaulted, which I get that. But he's like,
Oh, back.
Like, Machete don't want you, girl. Pipe down. Pipe down. He don't want you. He starts to tattoo her hand. It was like a poke and stick thing, because it looks like he used a feather to do it and dipped it in the ink. So that's painful. And it sent her into a delirium because that is painful. Machete type beat plays. She has a flashback to her parents' death again. And she wakes up, Machete's gone, has this tattoo on her hand, and she's talking about,
Damn, that's tight.
literally looks like this. It wasn't tight. It wasn't sick. Anyway, so I don't think she knew what the tattoo was. really? But it was some type of power that Machete placed on it for her to create life from art, what Snoop Dogg foreshadowed earlier. She immediately wakes up from that traumatic event and goes like, oh, this tattoo's tight. Now I'm gonna go spray paint over because I'm getting my lick back. I don't care what just happened, I'm getting my lick back. And so she spray paints over Fat Cap's tag. Meanwhile, she's spray painting over Fat Cap's tag. Fat Cap's hanging out with his friends under some bridge, it looks like. They some fucking trolls. And so they're there with the women from earlier, and one guy's getting a lap dance, and I'm not gonna show these scenes because it's a lot of nudity. Fat Cap, he sees one girl dancing for his friend, so he takes the other girl into another area, and they just have a bed out there that they sit on, and it's just like, put the bed in here, please, because what is that? Not only is it outside, no blanket, no nothing. Why? Fat Cat thinks he's getting laid. He thinks he's getting lit tonight. He's not though. He's not. So the girl leans over. He thinks he's getting some. The girl leans over and tries to rob him and run. But of course he grabs her, tries to attack this woman. As he's trying to do that, he shoots himself in the dick. Yeah. And they pan down and they show that he actually did have a chocolate chip size penis. After this situation, it just pans over to Posie going to a church. Lady at the church immediately roasts Posie's new tattoo. I think she was just roasting because it was a tattoo, but she should have roasted her for the right reasons, because why does it look like that? And she asked Posie where she got it from, and Posie had to make some like edgy ass response. It was a gift from Satan. Then she makes a whack ass masturbation joke. It's like, okay. While they going back and forth roasting each other, Fat Cap's parents, which we learned earlier are his parents, a couple comes out of the room crying. Goes back in the room with the lady. The preacher, the pastor, starts to go lay into Posie a little bit because she's been slacking on a mural. She's supposed to be painting them. But instead, she want to run around tagging places and getting in fights with gang bangers and stuff. Like, what are you doing? Gang banging. And they're literally paying her. You have a good gig, sis. You know how much I would love for someone to pay for my art? You have a good gig, sis. Get it together. And she asks about the couple that just left. And the pastor basically tells her, like, that was Fat Cap's parents. And she asks what happened. And they tell her, for some odd reason, they tell her exactly what happened. Posie's dumbass gonna say he unloaded on his own load and starts dying laughing.
Ain't that a bitch?
But at that moment, Posie realizes she has powers.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
And then she leaves the office and she looks at her childhood drawing. She looks at it in her hand. Like, why do you still have that? I think it has her mother's blood on it too. Why do you have that? Anyway, she looks down, she has a flashback, and it shows the same scene, but on this time, the father, after killing the mother, dips his finger in the mother's blood, then writes R.I.P. on the mom's forehead. Like, I feel like they made this movie at the last second. Why would you write R.I.P. on her forehead with blood?
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
Strico and Nib are at a basketball court, and Nib wants to go do something, wants to go play basketball with some other people. Strico's like, you go ahead. He puts on a ski mask in broad daylight and pulls out a gun in broad daylight. While he's walking down the street, he just ski mask, gun. You might as well went in there mask off at that point. He went in there, robbed the store, of course, come back to Nib acting like nothing happened. Nib's like,
you cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real.
And so while this is all taking place, Posie pulls up to Strico's tag and she does this weird, like, Michael Jackson ass. have the power. And she sprays over Strico's tag, which makes Strico, while he's running away after robbing the place, cops were called immediately. He's drinking the 40 that he took, and then he's peeing at the same time he's drinking. Here's the cops, turns around, takes off, running, slips on his own piss, and falls mouth first into the beer. It goes through the back of his head, and it looks like a little volcano project. I kind of like that scene, even though it looks like, you know, it's low budget. I still think it was cool. And so after that, Nib runs into a phone booth. While he's doing that, Posie is going down the alley because she's completely gone, lost her mind with power. And she's like, here, Nibby, Nibby, looking for Nib's tag. And then she does this neck roll, spirit fingers ass thing that she loves to do. And she spray paints over Nib's tag. And Nib dies in a Final Destination ass way, where the phone booth, the cord, wraps around his neck like a snake, which I think he could have got out of that because he immediately felt it happening. He could have slipped out and left, but you know, who am I to judge? After she killed those people, she just goes on a rampage, spraying over people's tags, and they do a whole montage of Posie's murder rampage. And then they show the preacher just being tired at these funerals. He's tired. And so Posie runs up to a clear blank wall, white wall. And while she's doing that, she gets body slammed for the second time by Machete. And he's like, basically, girl, the body count is half a dozen. Half a dozen. That means she killed 3 people after, wait. I can count half a dozen. Yeah, body count half a dozen. Machete's going off on her about this, and Posie's like,
then why did you give me the power? I thought you needed help cleaning up the streets.
He's like,
you're a dummy, bitch.
You're supposed to use the power to beautify the ghetto. Her spray paints come to life. She should have used that to, you know, bring peace, beauty, life to the area. Basically, she chose her own fate. She could have used her powers for good. Because if you're in a mindset, like, say, for instance, she wasn't in a vengeful mindset, and she was like, well, how can I use this for good? She would have thought about ways to help. But because she was already on her get back, she was like, I'm out for revenge. Bodies, okay? And so he removes her tattoo, brings the guys back to life, and Posie, she still got one more zinger left. And she looks at the group and she says,
living shitbags.
She tries to run up the gate. The guys pull her back, body slam again. She got body slammed 3 times. After she gets body slammed, they slam Posie up against that white wall. The 3 gang bangers slam her up against the wall. And the one guy with the bottle in his head puts a bottle through her head. Because I guess people's brains are soft in this universe. And it sprays out, it gushes out of her eyes, mouth, and head. And it continuously sprays out of her head on the white wall behind her. And Machete's going on and on about how life is this and that.
My. Now that's life imitating art.
Oh, it pans over and it shows Machete's HOH tattoo on his neck. It pans over to the next day, and the people from the church, the 2 people, the preacher and the lady, have this whole get-together gathering where they unveil the mural that Posie was supposed to make. And out of nowhere, the lady just starts singing. And I don't mind that, but it's the lyrics. I just felt the movie was so rushed because the song was just a repetitive ass.
Got to move on. Move on. Move on. Moving on. I've got to move on.
Devon comes in and he has another few zingers and one-liners, and he's like,
in fact, bitch is a picture.
It's like, He grabs her eye out of the wall, and I love this scene because his real hand reaches over, but then it turns to the animated hand, and he grabs the eye out of the wall, and he eats it, and I love the animation for that. I love that. Before that, he says, all fun and games until someone loses an eye.